Hi, I'm Ben, and now this is my spoiler review. So if you haven't watched so if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch this video if you don't want to know any spoilers. But this is my spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh man, well, I really liked this movie. There was a lot of sad parts in it, but yeah, and spoiler warning. Okay, so if you saw my last video, this one had like shows Rocket's backstory, but oh, it was kind of sad because there's this seal named Lila, this walrus named Teeth, and then this poor little rabbit named Floor, and they're all sweet, but then they get, and you all think they're gonna escape, but then they get killed by the High Evolutionary at the end, and it's so sad. And you see Rocket's backstory, and you see him genetically enhanced them and genetically enhance these other animals, like this turtle gets mutated, and I literally said cowabunga because it reminded me of a Ninja Turtle, but then they burnt it because it was savage, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. But there were a lot of great moments in it, like everyone was funny, everyone had their funny parts. I loved the scene where Groot said, "Oh, I love you guys" at the very end. That was sweet. And Mantis and Drax had great scenes. Like there's a lot of parts where they were like, "I'm not stupid, you're," and there's like, "We're idiots," and but they found a way to save the day. And then there's these children that the High Evolutionary kept on a ship, and then they try to rescue them, and you're hoping they're going to get rescued. And I also love that they help these animals, the Rocket's animal friends, because he sees all the animals, but then Rocket also sees these, like, he found his little brothers and sisters that are like baby raccoons, and he discovers that he finally admits that he's a raccoon. There's a cool part where he's fighting the High Evolutionary. He's like, the name's Rocket Raccoon. And High Evolutionary is crazy evil. Like, you see him genetically enhance animals, and and he literally blows up the Counter Earth planet. Like, they go to Counter Earth, because I first heard of that planet from, like, Spider Man Unlimited. But yeah, and he literally tries to blow it up because it wasn't perfect enough. It's weird that he makes the planet like a 1970s Earth, but he blows up the planet because he's like, it wasn't perfect enough. So he's like, I'll try again. And he shrugs it off like it's a painting he doesn't like. What? Like, this guy is crazy evil, but they kick his ass and then they save all the animals. And I thought Peter was gonna die. Like, thought there was gonna be like a member of the Guardians Galaxy that was gonna die, but no, none of the Guardians die. They kind of retire and went their own way. I thought Peter was gonna die because you see his face almost get blown up and get swelled, but Adam Warlock saves the day. Adam Warlock. I know who Adam Warlock in like. Oh, in I actually own the graphic novel I got at Kohl's. Hold on. Yeah, I got the Infinity Gauntlet, and I know who Adam Warlock is. I can't find a page for him, but yeah, he was created, and he was supposed to be the guy who defeats Thanos, but they thought Adam Warlock deserved his own story in his own movie, and they did. He's like a supporting character in this. Like, I think he's one of a villain who tries to destroy the Guardians, but ordered by High Evolutionary, but he helps out the Guardians at the end, and he had his moments of trying to help out and trying to fight alongside, and I'm glad he saved Peter at the end. Like, he helped save Peter's life. I really like that important part. But yeah, and I love that they saved all the animals and the children, and and there's a cute scene where, like, oh, I forget it. He's one of the Ravengers. He wears the fin on his head. It's not Yondu, but it was his friend who wears the whistly arrow, and he actually got to use it. And there's a scene where Cosmo is talking, and and he tells him or she's a bad dog, and he's like, "I'm not a bad dog," and they finally meant she's a good dog, and I really like that scene, and I love that. And they go their own separate ways. Like Gamora, again, she's not if yeah, I should mention Gamora. If you remember in Infinity War and Endgame, like she didn't like she died. That version of her died, but this is a version of her from like another timeline that they rescued. So they live. So she's with the Ravagers and tries to help the Ravagers, but she has her issues with Peter, and he's like, "I'm the." But Peter figures it out, and he actually goes back home because he was scared to go back home because of his grandpa. Like his grandpa told him to get out because his mother was dying, and he was. But then there's at the end he goes back and he finds his grandpa where he lives, and I really like that. That's a sweet thing. I like, and it's a sweet moment where Peter gets reunited with his grandpa. And there's an end credit scene where he's eating cereal and they're talking, and I thought that was a very sweet moment. And there is a mid credit scene where the new Guardians of the Galaxy are helping to stop these creatures, and then Groot, he turns into like this big old guy Groot. And at the end credits, there's like a scene that says the magnificent Star Lord will return. Maybe in the Qin Dynasty or Secret Wars, but we'll have to find out. Okay, so that's my spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I hope you enjoy it, and see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this review.